Hello everyone, Mike1217 here, and are we ready for more Skyward Sword? Let's do it! Wait a minute, this LP is over, isn't it? That's right, finally, after 6 months, I can take this game out of my Wii! And replace it with a different game, so, I know just the game to do that with, too. The eject button is not working. There we go. Yes, I'm actually doing this in recording, switching games in recording, because I forgot to switch the games before I turned on my Wii. And actually, truth be told, I have actually changed games at least once or twice during the duration of Skyward Sword, but for the most part, from December on to June, Skyward Sword is pretty much the only occupant of that Wii. But that's all gonna change here. Where is the game? I put it in. There it is, okay. Yeah, there's not very many videos that I do from the Wii menu. It's kind of weird. But anyway, let's have a change of scenery. Let's play Donkey Kong Country Returns. And this time I don't have to calibrate my Wiimote, which is nice. I got so used to doing that with Skyward Sword that I just started doing it for this game too. Nope, no Wii Motion Plus here. Yeah, welcome to Let's Play Donkey Kong Country Returns, everyone. I think I've already said my name. It's Mike1217, in case I didn't say it earlier. And, if you thought I was done with Donkey Kong Country with the, classic SNES, trilogy made by Rare, I'm not quite done. We are also going to do the reboot by Retro Studios, which came out in 2010 on the Wii, one of my favorite games on the Wii, and I'm just gonna start a new game right here. Now this will be a 100% run, but it's going to be game-defined 100%. I'll explain one player and two player actually later. Extras and options I don't really give a crap about, so let's just start playing. But there's actually going to be a cutscene here. I don't know if I want to talk during the cutscene or not. I mean, in more serious games, I don't talk over cutscenes, but I'll let this one go. So apparently Donkey Kong was too dumb to be hypnotized by our new set of antagonists, the Tikis. I'll talk about them later, a big controversial subject with this game. But yeah, here we are with a nice reboot of the classic Donkey Kong Country games, it was about time that they did this. It's just a dream come true for me that Retro Studios did this. And before I began my file, I was talking about 100%ing the game, and I also mentioned game-defined 100%. So these things here, these are puzzle pieces that you can collect throughout the levels. As you saw briefly on the screen there, it showed 1 out of 9, so there's a certain number of them per level. And those do not count towards game-defined 100%, so I would not be getting all of those. I will try to get as many as I can, but if you don't get all of those, then you still get everything else that's required for game-defined 100%, which I'll explain later. Yeah, you can still get 100% according to the game without getting all the puzzle pieces. Here's a nice reference to the first game. They had a 1-up in DK's house. And actually, something cool here, if I do a ground pound by the TV, the music changes to the title screen music, which is kind of cool. We can listen to it for a little bit, hop around. So, in case you're wondering, my controller configuration is classic, just Wiimote on the side. I don't know if it gave me the option. Well, I guess it won't give you the option if you don't have the nunchuck plugged in, but you can also play with the nunchuck, and I find that a little bit more awkward. There's a couple more buttons that are, like, usable, whereas the Wiimote sideways, a lot of the actions are actually done with the 1 button. Like, you hold down 1 to run and what have you. I'm not going to go over controls too much. Now here, this is the K, you know, that is returning in this game, the K-O-N-G letters. But this time, unlike the SNES games, the Kong letters are actually what are vital for getting game-defined 100%. And I'm going to stop using the word game-defined and say 100%. But yeah, in order to get 100% in this game, you have to collect all of the Kong letters in each level. That's unlike in the SNES series, where the only thing that collecting Kong would do would be to give you a extra life. So this time they are actually more important to pick up, and that's all I'm going to be worrying about as far as extra stuff alongside beating the main levels. But again, I'm going to try my best to get as many puzzle pieces as I can. In case you're wondering, what the puzzle pieces do is, if you collect all of them, or I think incrementally as you collect them, you'll unlock art and like pictures in the game that you can look at, and maybe music. But the internet exists. You can just Google it. Seriously, you can just Google the pictures. You don't need to unlock them on your game. I think Retro's a little bit behind on that regard. Okay, so I want to explain some controls. You've seen me do some actions, but as far as button controls, you just and I'm only just gonna explain the sideways Wiimote. I'm not gonna explain the Wiimote nunchuck. You hold down run. You hold down 1 to run. That's kind of hard to say. 2 is jump. So that's pretty self-explanatory. D-pad, yeah, blah blah blah. That's really I don't really need to explain that. But something I do need to explain is that you can actually do certain maneuvers by shaking the Wiimote. Right now, I'm kind of slamming the ground, and that will make multiple things happen. And if you hold down, like duck down, then shake, you can do a blow. So that's 2 of the shaking mechanics, and I'll show one more in a bit. First, let's hop around here. Of course, whenever you hit the jump button and you land on something bouncy, you jump higher, so that is worth noting. That is a very common mechanic in the Donkey Kong Country games, and it will be vital for later levels to be able to jump high. If I collect all these bananas, this thing will go crazy, and it will spit out another puzzle piece. That's nice. But yeah, the third shaking mechanic is when you're moving and you shake, you do the roll, the classic roll from the first 3 games. So that is, of course, back. But that's something that I have a major gripe with. That's actually probably my biggest complaint with this game, actually, is that the roll is controlled by shaking, not by a button like it was in the SNES games. Right there is unlocked Diddy, and this is something that's different in this game, is that instead of switching between the two Kongs, Diddy kind of just acts as a power-up, and you can hold down the jump button to have a little bit of an extra float. He has his jetpack, actually, from Donkey Kong 64, which I thought was kind of a cool reference. He can also shoot the peanut pop guns, but I don't think he can do that in one player. If you're playing with a second player, I think he can, like, shake the Wiimote and make Diddy shoot peanuts and stun enemies. So, yeah, that's pretty much how Diddy works. And you can see in the top left corner, you can see hearts. So in this game, health is donated by... denoted, I can't say words right now, by hearts. Each Kong has 2 hits, essentially, they can take. If you... right now, we can take 4 hits. If we take 2 hits, we're going to lose Diddy, so that's kind of how that works. And then if we didn't have Diddy, we can just take 2 hits before we die. And there are, of course, some insta-kill things, like falling down in the pits and junk like that. I hope I didn't miss O. I think that was, yeah, that was something you had to roll to. I'm not really paying attention. And we have some exploration to do in the background. I'm going to show off a little more of the ground pounding, what it does. You'll see a lot of stuff in the background, like, of where you're walking. And, just like anything that looks kind of weird, try slamming it and you'll usually get something out of it. And you'll get used to that as you play. You'll get used to what things look like and what things can be, like, ground pounded to get rid of. Like here, we can break this. Actually, there's a barrel right here. You can pick up barrels with the run button and throw them through enemies, like usual. Oh, in this game, it doesn't have as many barrels you can throw at enemies like you can in the other ones. Now, here's the bonus area. And the bonuses in this game, what you have, they're all pretty much the same concept. What you have to do is you have to collect all the collectibles, all the bananas and whatnot. And when you do, a puzzle piece will appear, and that's what you get as your reward. And you do have a time limit. The time limit run freezes when the puzzle piece appears. So that is all bonus areas are for. So yeah, unlike the first, unlike the SNES games, the bonus areas are not required to get 100%. Because that was a big deal in the SNES games. You had to find all the bonuses to get 100%. But in this game, it's not nearly as important. You always will get a puzzle piece as your prize for bonuses. There's some birds here. And we're just jumping around. I don't have really anything else. I just ran out of stuff to say. What the hell is that about? It's part 1. Should have tons of stuff to say. This G can be kind of difficult to get, actually. So that's something I can talk about. Yeah, I have to make those enemies respawn. I believe you can respawn enemies. Because, yeah, okay, let's try to do a high bounce. Again, when you jump off of enemies, you can hit the jump button right as you land on the enemy to get a higher bounce. That is, again, that's a mechanic that returns from the original games. And other platformers do that as well, like Mario. And that is the end level. I didn't really have any time to explain it, but basically, it's kind of like the end level target, actually, on Donkey Kong Country 2, where it'll have like a selection of items that will like scroll by, and then when you hit the barrel, you'll get a certain item. So that's really all that's about. I could have gotten another puzzle piece at the end of the level, but I just didn't get it. I was too excited to get to the end level. Okay, so I can definitely keep doing more levels. This game, like Donkey Kong Country 3, is probably gonna have maybe like 1 or 2 levels per video. It's probably going to have longer videos, is what I'm saying. Because the levels in this game are significantly longer than they are in the SNES games. Though I will say Donkey Kong Country 3's levels are fairly, like, close to this one, as far as length goes. I still haven't explained, like, other, like, basic mechanics, like checkpoints. You probably... If you haven't played the game before, you probably might have figured out what the checkpoints are. I'll point them out again in case you missed it. With the K right up here, I guess get a puzzle piece if we roll up there. There's going to be a lot of hidden areas in the walls in this game, so kind of look out for that. For the most part, they're always going to give you puzzle pieces, but still, it's worth looking at. And here, the central mechanic is clinging, which if you're playing with the Wiimote sideways, you don't really have to think about clinging that much. Because from what I understand, like, to cling, you have to hold down the one button, but with the Wiimote sideways, you're already holding down that button to run. Because I'm always holding down the run button when I'm playing these games. I think with the nunchuck combo, you have to hold down like the C button on the nunchuck, and I believe running is the B trigger. I'm not totally sure. I might play one session with the Wiimote nunchuck combo just to kind of explain it, if I really need to. If people really care, I doubt you even care. Whatever. I still want to check out all the secrets now, so let's take a look here. And we'll keep going. Not really much else to say. I guess I can talk about the enemies now that I ran out of things to say. Yeah, in this game, the Kremlings is kind of a controversial thing with this game that a lot of people didn't like. You'll notice that there aren't any Kremlings in this game. They're just pretty much generic animal enemies, and of course the Tikis, which are like the main antagonists. I would like to get the heart, but I can't get to it. Oh well. But I mean, actually, another way you can get health is if you take a DK barrel and just throw it, you'll regain your health. So that's something worth noting. I guess I can explain this too. This is what this pig is pointing out. Like, pretty much how to do the roll, but when you have Diddy on your back, something cool that you can do with the rolling when you have Diddy on your back is you can actually roll continuously if you keep shaking the Wiimote. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of like in the older games where they had like the steel kegs that you rode on top of. That's kind of like that. So that's pretty cool. And you can see here, kind of like in the first level, we are going to the background of the level. And that's kind of a cool extra thing that they have in this game that you'll be seeing a lot of, like going back and forth between the background and foreground. Retro put a lot of emphasis on just like background type of things. Like there'll be some things that attack you from the background as well, kind of like in Yoshi's Island. There's a lot of stuff like that for the Super Nintendo. You know, like those chain chomps that jump at you in Yoshi's Island. I hope I can get this. If I fail bonus games, I'm not going to retry them. I'm just going to point that out to you. I just don't want to waste too much time. I'll always give one try. Or, well, whatever. Whatever I really feel like. Honestly, I'm kind of going to play this game the way I just feel like playing it. I mean, again, I'm going to go for 100%, but I'm also going to kind of do what I want to. Crap, I didn't get hit there. So, this game is significantly more difficult than the SNES series, and Retro did a great job of making it difficult, really. Because again, you can only take 2 hits per Kong, which may seem like a lot now. And by the way, these pigs, in case you haven't noticed by now, these are the checkpoints, and there's actually multiple of those per level. There's not just one like there were in the original game. So that's one kind of compensation that Retro put in for this game being difficult, is they put multiple checkpoints in, like 2 or 3. I don't know if it like varies per level or not, but there are multiple checkpoints per level. I mean, that is also because the levels are longer, but they're also harder, and you will need those checkpoints. And yeah, we're not going to be seeing it right now, but the game does get significantly more difficult, and we get, I'd say, around maybe World 4 is when it starts to get really hard. And I cannot blow that thing, because I'm clinged on to this, so whatever, I don't care. It's probably not anything important. I'm trying to look for health, though. Not that I really need it. I just don't want to lose Diddy. The thing with this game is that, and it's kind of my advice, too, is don't get spoiled by Diddy. Learn to play as Donkey Kong alone, because there will be certain points where you'll be like stuck at a checkpoint and you won't have a DK barrel for a while, and you'll be forced to play as Donkey Kong alone. And if you're too like spoiled by Diddy and you're too reliant on his floating ability, that can be your downfall, because oh shit, I'm gonna lose Diddy right here. Speaking of, I cannot die in the first world. I'm gonna promise I would not die in the first world. Like, in general. There's one level that I think I might die on, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, just don't get spoiled by Diddy. Don't like there'll just be certain spots in the game where you will think, well, the only way I can really get across this is by floating with Diddy, but you're gonna have to learn to play with Donkey Kong alone too. So there you go. Get another puzzle piece here. I don't think I'm gonna actually get Diddy back in this level, so that's a shame, but whatever. So I got off topic with the whole enemies thing. Yeah, the enemies, you're not going to see any familiar enemies, unfortunately. You're not going to see the Kremlings, you're not going to see Zingers, you're going to see kind of Retro's own designs of enemies, which a lot of people didn't like, but personally, I don't really mind it. Yeah, it does take away from the nostalgia factor, which is mostly what people were looking for with this game, and I do still think Retro nails it with this game, the nostalgia, because as you can, like, if you listen to the music right now, it's classic Donkey Kong music, and for the most part in this game, the music is pretty much the same music that you hear in the original Donkey Kong Country. There are a few new themes that not really Retro composed, but but you know, like, I believe the soundtrack was actually done by the guy who did the Metroid Prime soundtrack, which makes sense because Retro worked on Metroid Prime as well. I'm going to talk more about this actually next time. I'm sorry, I'm kind of in between subjects, or I'm in the middle of a subject between episodes, but I definitely need to end this first one off right here. We're at 21 minutes, or 22 minutes now. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm already super excited for this project. It's off to a great start, I think. And we will do more next time on Let's Play Donkey Kong Country Returns. This has been Mike1217, and I will see you next time. Peace out.